My name's Harry.
My name's Ava.
This is episode 3 of the HD Effect, and today we're going to be talking about friendship in your 20s. Let's start with, obviously, friendship in your 20s. I am, in my mid-20s so far, and I've had a couple experiences with friendships, are good and bad. Well, I wouldn't say experience isn't good or bad, but experience is experience, right? So I've had to encounter different situations. So let's start with that. What has it been like experiencing friendship in your 20s?
I think for me, it's definitely put it into perspective how important friendships are. And I think I'm really starting to value the friendships I have now compared to, for example, in my teens. And I guess, that would probably be the biggest thing I'd say. It's difference is I just value the friends I have now more than what I did previously. Yeah. Would you say the same, or would you say there's something different?
Yeah, I think friendships over the last, I want to say from about 11, from high school, secondary school, even primary school, to be fair. Primary school, you can't really take into account friends like that because that's basically people in and around your area. Okay, cool. Like you talk to people and you kind of not latch onto, but you kind of connect with someone from your common interests. But then I think the friendships kind of evolve to something a bit bigger once you reach secondary school, because I think you're more accustomed to different variations of emotions because you're going through that certain period in your life where you're growing up and you're maturing. I think there's definitely been phases where there's things you used to like before, you don't like as much now. So the way you kind of adapt and change, your friendship groups as a result will change as well, depending on where you want to go in your life, which direction you want to take your life. So for example, if I'm 15 to 18 mark, I might love playing video games, for example, but after a certain point I just don't enjoy it. So that you're less inclined to spend time with that group, and you just kind of gravitate and channel into what you want to do as you get older. So I think in that regard, my friendships have changed quite a lot. For really positive and negative reasons, but ultimately I think what I'm left with now are friends that are aligned with me, have similar interests, and I genuinely enjoy spending a lot of time with them. So as such, I think I'm in a very privileged position.
Do you think it helps you if your friends are actually more aligned with your goals and your ambitions?
100%. Because then there's a sense of unity, there's a sense of community involved. If you're all sort of working towards one specific goal, I mean, all of you don't have to be focusing on the same exact thing. If you all are ambitious and you're working really hard and you have the certain morals and all aligned, I think moral alignment is really important as a friend as you get older. Because that's what truly matters in your life, rather than the money or the fame or the status like that. It's more about who's going to bring the best out of you. Mm-hmm. And I think as long as that stays as a constant, I think you have a good circle of trust around you.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not about everyone having the same goal or same ambition.
Yeah.
It's just more of understanding each other's goals and supporting that and doing what you can to help that, if there is anything that you can do.
Exactly. So you can kind of help each other in that respect as well.
Exactly. I think being supportive is of bigger importance in your 20s, because everyone's going through different sort of phases or will be on different paths, I would say. So you are more likely expecting more of that from your friends, and vice versa.
Yeah.
In comparison to your younger years.
I think younger years of friendship aren't really as serious, right?
I think it's more surface level.
Yeah.
Whereas in your 20s, you're really building a deeper connection, a deeper understanding of your friends as a person.
Yeah.
Like, what are they trying to achieve in the next 5-10 years? What are their long-term, like, what do they want to do in life? Whereas, yeah, in your younger years, it's very generic.
Very fickle. I'd say it's quite fickle.
Yeah. So that brings me on to the next question. So in your 20s, like I said, everyone is hitting different milestones. You know, you're getting married. Well, before that, you get into relationships, getting married. You're buying houses, traveling, and a bigger aspect is focusing on your careers and building that out.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate friendships that's when you and your friends are not on the same path? Or like, is there any challenges that you can think of?
I think scheduling time with each other is probably the most important thing to solve for any issues that, for example, like if you guys have different careers, sometimes there might be like gaps in each other's schedules where you can sort of arrange time to like spend some time with each other. I think connection and building that trust over time is really, really important. If you guys are in like early stage of your friendship and you don't meet up as much, it's gonna obviously fade out. But if you guys are if there's a strong like connection over a certain period of time, but then obviously things change because of family dynamics, like you're having a kid, you're getting married, like you said, then obviously it's up to each other to sort of understand each other's situation and be like, look, okay, well, there's not enough time here, but at least make the conscious effort of finding the time to spend time with each other, away from work, away from certain commitments, just like where you guys can actually just have a chat and have a good time.
Yeah.
So I think in the midst of the busyness of everyone's lives, whether it's daily chat, like emotional challenges, physical challenges, I think it's really important to schedule some time in the week. Doesn't matter, it could be like an hour, a couple hours, just like to spend time with your friends and your family and like just check in on them and make sure they're okay and you're still fostering that relationship.
Yeah.
Have you got a certain way about going about it as well? Or would you say something similar?
I think it's tough because it might feel like at certain points that perhaps you're kind of drifting away because they have, I guess, more important things going on in their life. And I guess comparison kind of comes into that as well. It's like, oh, they're hitting those milestones, I'm not, and etc. But as long as your connection and your understanding in your friendship is there, like that's concrete and solid, I don't think anything else that would go on in their life should impact or change that. And like you said, it's just putting in the effort. Like things will pop up, you know, things will happen. You'll have big changes and career changes, job, you know, you're moving jobs or things happening in the family. Like as long as, you know, maintaining that friendship is one of your priorities as well, then I don't think it should be as much of a challenge. It still will be tough because it feels like, again, compared to your younger years, there's so much going on around you. You're starting to get a hold of, I guess, adulting. And then, yeah, it just feels like your 20s is really where you're growing up and you're getting more responsibilities.
And to be fair, even when you say that, like I don't even think people have hacked adulting. People, even as an adult, people still haven't got to grips with certain. I don't think anyone can master adulting. It's not something. It's an ongoing process of managing time, managing relationships, managing business, managing career. Like it's non-stop work that you have to kind of put in.
If anything, it's like a time management exercise.
Yeah, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the better you are at it, the easier it's going to make your life.
Yeah.
Of I think actually maintaining relationships is so important because it's so easy. I've seen it firsthand, and I'm sure many people have, how easy it is to drift apart. Like, one example for me is my uni friends. At uni, I would have spent every day with them, spent hours on end, in the library, just chatting away. And I had a very sort of close circle. But I guess COVID happened, everyone came back home, lockdown, and no one really kept in touch after that. So, it's really easy to drift apart.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a way of, I guess, the universe telling you that perhaps you don't need to focus on these friendships in particular, because again, there might have been a bit more surface level. I think there's certain situations that will put people together as well. So it's tough. Do you feel that effort in a friendship changes in your 20s? So again, this is very related to what we were just talking about. Do you think it's still like a 50-50 balance? Or do you think it's okay if the weight of that changes depending on what's going on in the other person's or in your life?
As any relationship, I think communication is important. So if you and your friends can sort of identify a couple things that are like you're struggling with, at points it might be like one friend is just checking in on the other friend if they're like going through a bit of a hard time. So it might be feeling like they're putting a bit more effort, and then vice versa. I don't necessarily think it's a 50-50. It's just more of a, I think, if anything, I think it's more of a 100-100. Because it's both parties coming together to like put in the effort to make sure that the friends are okay. And I think it's a natural thing as well. I think when you naturally feel safe and comfortable with that person, I think that idea of independence is important. Where like you could like, for me, one of my best examples is one of my best friends from uni, Vish. Are we name dropping?
You don't have to.
Should we name drop? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. You're one of my best friends in my life at the moment. Like there'll be times where we don't see each other for like months, but then the next time we see each other, it'll be like as if we just spent like hours and hours, like for the last like week or so. So it depends on the friendship and your dynamic with certain people. Like sometimes you can go time without seeing each other and then you get back and you're fine. Sometimes it might feel a bit weird at the start, but then when you get back into it, it feels fine. But staying in touch is really important. I think checking on each other is really, really important as well in terms of that effort. I think if there's anything I can say with the effort part is, even if you guys aren't talking, at least check in. Because you guys, like it's quite hard to manage in your 20s. You've got your career, you've got other relationships, you've got your family, you've got trying to balance, you're thinking about so many things like marriage as well. There are so many factors involved, so you don't really have time to check in and put effort into friendships. But I think a small part of you small part of your time should be allocated towards people that bring the best out of you, make you the happiest. So I don't think it's necessarily a balance in who puts however much effort. It's more whenever you got the time, just check in every now and then, maybe daily, maybe weekly. A monthly, I think it's a bit too long, but I think every week, like once a week, just have some time together and it boosts your happiness as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting that you say like for certain friendships, it really does feel effortless.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the connection and the understanding that you have in that friendship. Whereas other friendships might seem like you're really putting in the work. For me personally, the circle I have at the moment are people I would consider having like sort of effortless friendships with. Because I'm a very laid back sort of chill person. So I don't have the energy really to put in more effort than the other person is putting in the friendship, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if there have been like those type of friendships in the past, I've sort of not cut them off, but we sort of drifted apart.
You naturally just tend to drift apart.
I'm just not really interested in maintaining that sort of friendship because I know it's going to take a lot out of me.
Yeah.
I think there is a certain aspect of guilt as well when you go for long periods of not talking to your friends. I definitely felt it. It's like, oh damn. Because when you realize, oh my God, it's been like 2 months since I last met up with this person. But then when you actually talk to the person, they were probably thinking the same as well. So really, it's not something to be feeling guilty about, especially in your 20s, because you just have so much going on. I think it's just understanding that we're all going through a lot.
I think early 20s is quite relaxed. It's probably more your later 20s, like from the 25 to 30 mark, where I think this more comes in. But even like during your uni time, from the moment you set foot, it's like it's where you guys basically spend like every single day with each other for the next 3-4 years, depending on how long you're doing your course for. And you just learn through experience, learn through things that happen. Sometimes you're like one of your best friends, like your closest friends, but then things happen and you kind of naturally drift apart where there's no solution. It's just the way you guys are feeling in that certain moment of time. Sometimes you won't even meet your best friend until your last year uni. Like, it's happened. I've heard it before.
Yeah.
So it very much varies, and there's no fixed rule about the way you form your friends or whatever. There's obviously certain morals and values, but in terms of like the effort that we talked about, it just depends on the flow of the conversation, flow of the friendship, flow of the timing of certain events. So I think they all play a part in the effort levels as well.
I feel like you also get to be more selective of your friends in your 20s.
Yeah.
Whereas, I guess, school days, uni time, you kind of become close to whoever you were around at that point.
Yeah.
So school, definitely, because you would have been around the same group for years on end. Whereas uni, you might get introduced to different, groups of people, and then you would, I guess, naturally tend or gravitate towards.
You reckon it's a bit more diverse in terms of where people are coming from? They share different experiences themselves, and you kind of learn and pick up a couple things from them. It's quite different.
And then I guess as you move through your 20s, I feel like you can be a bit more selective of who you come, I guess, more close with. And then you have it. I feel like it's not a Venn diagram. I have like a picture in mind. Like you have the core group, and then like a wider group, and then an even wider group.
It's like small concentric circles, right?
Yeah.
So you got your smallest, your close circle. Then as you go further and further out, they're kind of like your close so-and-so network of people you know. And it's just the level of closeness too.
Yeah. And to give examples, closest people are like...
in the middle.
Yeah, that's your go-to people, right? You'd share anything and everything with them. Again, there's no like, oh, we catch up every month or whatever. You don't necessarily have to catch up with them every month. It might be every 6 months or something whenever you see them. But, when you do, it feels like no time has gone between that.
Yeah.
And then on the widest circle, it would probably be like people that you connect on social media with, or like, I guess, friends with.
Or work colleagues as well.
Yeah, or work colleagues as well. But you wouldn't call them a friend as such. Yeah, acquaintance, basically. Someone that, would say hi if you saw them on the streets, but like, you wouldn't really share.
But I think it's important to foster those relationships as well, because then you never know. I think it's such a small world how everyone's all interconnected with each other. So I think it's really important to have a close group of friends that you trust with your life, but as well making sure that whoever you talk to outside of that, you still have a positive relationship with them, because they can give you a favor or like help you out in the time you need it the most, and vice versa. You can help them in the time they need it the most, and suddenly you've just now fostered an excellent relationship, and now they could move up that circle where now they feel even closer to you. So I think things happen, and you got to judge it based on how it happens as well. I don't think it's ever a fixed point, right? These are your friends, these are you stuck for life. Some of them are, unfortunately. Some of them are like stuck with you forever, and there's no change. But some of them is like, it's very much interchangeable, and it's up to you to kind of like manage that.
Yeah.
I think in terms of being selective about who you do let in, I think it's quite important to highlight how to sort of identify, or if you have a criteria of how to spot the difference between a good friend, a bad friend, are they just using you? So what would be your, not necessarily advice, but what's been your experience like dealing with a good friend or a bad friend? How would you differentiate the two?
I would say I've been lucky enough to not have any bad friends, or perhaps they have been, but I guess I didn't get close enough to know that they were, or like we just kind of drifted apart after a while. But I guess just thinking out loud, a bad friend I would say would be someone who is not supportive of your goals, ambitions, your dreams. And that's not to say like they're not like a yes person, because I think it's important to actually challenge and confront your friends when you think they're going down possibly or potentially a wrong path, or maybe like steering them away from that. So it's fine to like actually confront your friends and say that, like, you know, talk to them and discuss that. But someone who's not supportive, someone who's always sort of ranting to you about their issues but not actually asking about how you're getting on. It's a two-way street at the end of the day. And again, in your 20s, you'll have so much things happening that perhaps it's easy to get stuck in your own head and be like, oh, I have XYZ going on. But then it's important to know that it's two of you in that friendship. You'll also need to check in on that other person. To someone who is perhaps a bit more self-absorbed. What else is a bad friend? Yeah, for me personally, I would say someone who doesn't put in any effort. It's like, it's always seems to be a one-sided thing. Like, it's okay if, you know, 7 out of the 10 times you've always reached out to set things up with them. But if it's 10 out of the 10 times, then that's, for me, I don't see.
Yeah, if it feels like you're always trying to put the effort in. If it's been like very, I wouldn't say 7 out of 10 is still a bit too high. I'll say like
perhaps
probably more in the middle. If it's more like 5, 6 out of 10. If there's a majority, that's fine. But if you're sort of looking at a high majority, like 80% of the time you're putting in the effort in, I think it starts to become a bit more difficult, where it's like you start questioning whether that's the friendship for you, because if the level of effort you're putting in, it doesn't feel like you're getting that same effort back. And that can be a detriment to you, because they could be just using that friendship as a different opportunity or just a time pass, for example.
Yeah, I do want to caveat, like, if that person's going through something difficult in their life, and, you know, they're, I guess, emotionally unavailable in that way, and it's always you reaching out to check up on them and things like that, that's fine. But just generally, like, when life is normal,
or day to day, like things are regular.
Yeah, and there's nothing like, you know, special circumstances or whatever.
No.
Then, yeah, I would find that a little bit.
Yeah.
Perhaps, I don't know, calling someone a bad friend is a little bit.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad friend. I think it's just a term. It's a idea of alignment, right? It's just you guys are on different wavelengths. You want to make more effort to see that person. That person doesn't want to make that same effort to come see you. So I think it's more of a frequency thing rather than a good friend, bad friend, because it's not up to you to decide who's good and who's bad.
Yeah.
You can decide who's good and bad for you, but you can't determine someone's a bad friend, because they could be a bad friend to you, but they can be an amazing friend to someone else because they just align with that person better.
Yeah. And if you really value that friendship and you want that friendship, then maybe it's like you picked up on certain things. Actually have that conversation with that person. It's like, look, I've noticed that it's majority me putting in the effort to set up these, you know, meetups, catch-ups, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, actually address the situation rather than, I don't think it's necessarily an indicator for you to cut them off entirely.
No, yeah.
Like,
are there any deal breakers that you'd be like, no, this is unacceptable?
It's betraying.
Yes.
Betraying my trust.
Trust is earned, respect is earned, but if I know that I think the idea of being disciplined is actually really important. Like, knowing that no matter what happens, you can stay true to your word, like that element of honor. is really important in a friendship, because there could be things where like money could persuade you, or like resources could betray you, or the allure of fame, richness, like that kind of situation might come up, and you just ditch them for someone else who's probably quite hollow, but they've got all the resources in the world. But if you just say, let's say for example, person A who has no resources, but you can trust them with your life. Certain things, they help you through certain situations. But person B, they've got all the resources in the world, but they're quite not materialistic, but they're quite hollow in the sense that they're quite dismissive. Don't know if that's the right way of putting it, but just in terms of their idea of friendship, they're quite interchangeable. They're not as bothered with the friendship as possible. They just want materialistic gain. And I think that's where like person's true values come across in a friendship. Personally, I would rather someone hanging out with someone who's got discipline and who understands that idea of trust. Like betrayal is just a complete no-brainer. Like there's no recovering from that. It's just protecting my peace at the end of the day.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I mean, betrayal, it's across not just friendships, but all relationships.
Yeah.
Like that's a deal breaker for most people, I'd say. So, yeah. Let me flip the question back on you. So how would you spot a good friend? What's a good friend?
Probably going to repeat some of the same stuff I've said already, but to reinforce the point, I guess, I think for a good friend, for me, I think if I spend time with them and I've come out at the end of it and I feel so happy, like I feel even more energized, I feel motivated, that's a good sign. I think if they challenge me in terms of, let's say for example, if I'm doing a career that I'm like, and they've identified and gone, hey man, you can do something much better than this. Like you can do something more worthwhile that you enjoy. Or if they can recognize that, I think emotional recognition is actually really important, because it's a very subtle thing. But if they can sense something is off, they can really see that your emotions are a bit off. I think that's also quite a very strong asset to have in a friend. It's not everyone has it. It's not everyone's emotionally attuned like that. But if you can find someone that can detect if you're feeling off, if you're feeling like really positive, if they bring the best out of you, if they motivate you, if like the way they handle themselves as well, like their relationships, is also a good observation to make in a good friend. And if you see the positives in them, and like if you can see certain relationships they have is quite strong, their friendships are strong, and people want to be around them, that's what you want to build around, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's important in life, is the idea of being able to build a positive community where you're all like-minded. Not to say everyone's in the same alignment, but but there has to be some diversity in the interests as well, a little bit. But main thing is someone who can get best out of you, someone who can emotionally see if you're on, off, checks in on you, actually cares, shit like that, shows that sign of intent, and is quite honourable, has their values, and sticks by them, even if they feel like something I've done wrong, can call me out on it.
Yeah. Do you think it's important for your friends to be in the same circles as you, or do you think it's actually better if they're in different circles? Does that make sense, the question?
So is that a question to say, let's say for example, if I have a friend, and they've got their own friendship circle, smaller friendship circle, or just another circle?
Just another circle in general.
I mean, what? Well, your friends are allowed to have other friends too.
Yeah,
it's just
of course.
As long as they, it depends. Actually, they are allowed, yes, but it also depends. You need to also judge the kind of friends that they're hanging out with. I think there's a saying, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Let's say, for example, you've got a friend, but that friend hangs out with people that don't bring the best out of them, have bad habits, and they don't really live a purposeful living life. That's probably a friend. You could probably have a word with them saying, look, these guys aren't really that good for you. Look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is it purposeful? Is it bringing the best out of you? And it's a conversation you can have between them two.
Yeah.
And it's probably for yourself being selfish a little bit to protect your own well-being as well, is that someone you want to be spending time with, because they're going to be exposed to those habits as well, and as a result, you're going to be exposed to those habits too, just by the fact that this person is around those vibes of negativity, I guess. But so I think it's up to you to judge and assess what the other person's friendship circle's like. It's also good to meet them and see what they're like and then what their interests are. But if you see anything that doesn't sit with you and that's right, nah, I don't think so.
Interesting.
How about you?
I forget the question.
So let's say if your friend is in another friendship group, would that be something that you'd allow for? How would you handle that? Would you have to spend time with them?
No, I think I'm on the same page. Like, of course, you're allowed to have other friends and be in other friendship circles that I'm not part of. Like, it's the thing of everyone has had a life before they met you.
Yes.
So naturally, they're going to have other, friendship circles and, people that they've met before you and are close with. That's fine. But as you rightly said, like whoever you have around you is going to influence your behavior, your habits, everything. So I might be on the same page with my friend, but whoever they're hanging out with is going to influence them. And as a result, it's going to influence me. So I don't necessarily need to hang out with their friendship circles, but I need to know the kind of people that they're hanging out with.
Yeah.
So yeah, to an extent, it's important. But that doesn't mean your friend is not allowed to have other friends.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, what is one important boundary you've had to set, or if you haven't set any, that you would set with a friend in your 20s that you wouldn't have considered in your teens or in your younger age? What are boundaries that you'd set in your friendships now that you wouldn't have in your younger years?
I don't know, to be honest. That's such a difficult question, because I think the way my friendship groups work at the moment, none of us are... I think it's the only boundary I say is bad habits, like going out every night. It's not something maybe I would have done at uni, but not now. Nowadays, I feel like it's just... I think I'm very much focused on career and getting that off the mark, as well as getting the business off the mark. I feel like I don't have the time to have an occasion, go out every single night. Whereas, back at uni, it was like it was quite carefree. It wasn't as strict. So I'd say if I have the same mindset as I did when I was during uni, I'd say probably from 18 to 21 even, I think I could have been a bit more stricter on myself. But I feel like I do that now, so I don't think it's an issue as such. But in terms of boundary, I think just hanging out with people that are always saying negative things, like I can't do this, I can't do that. I think that's answered my question actually. Hang out with people that are optimistic. So if I hear a negative thing, cut off, because you naturally feed off what people say. And then I think the value of what you say is so underrated, because it's like your own self-programming. And I feel like when you're a teen, you're so easily influenced, because you're not thinking as straight as you are when you're mid-20s, for example, or late to early 20s. But when you're younger, it's kind of you kind of see this. You see social media, you're comparing to each other. You're easily influenced. So yeah, if I was to say an boundary that I've had to set now is I don't tolerate negative comments to an extent where I can't do this. I feel like it's difficult to do this, impossible to do this. I don't want to do that, because I don't want to allow that train of thought to enter my thinking as well. Because then it kind of limits your potential. It's more of a aspirational, ambitious thing to say. That would have been really helpful for my teens, but because I think I've had enough knock-on effect where it has impacted my sort of confidence level to an extent.
Yeah.
But whereas if I was like, you know what, from the get-go, I'm going to try it no matter what happens. I'm going to keep going. I think that could have been, it could be. I mean, I'm just trying to extrapolate, but it could have been different.
Yeah, I think your 20s is like a phase of growth
Yes.
in all aspects of your life. So you need people who, I wouldn't say like, what's the word? What's the opposite of pessimistic?
Optimistic.
Optimistic, but almost to the point where it's like everything will go your way kind of optimism.
Does that then come under self-belief then? Like, have you got to program yourself to a point where you actually believe that everything will go right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm optimistic, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm that optimistic. Oh, your 20s is a phase of growth.
Oh, yeah.
So you need similar-minded people who are also in that growth mindset and will bring, like you said, the positive energy and is open to challenging you, but in a constructive way.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to put you down, but to say, look, perhaps you should try this. Or
Be suggestive. Like, I wouldn't say, okay, this does not work. Unless it's a completely horrendous idea, that's different. But if it's like, okay, we can start with this, how can we make this better? That kind of progressive attitude is what I've had to say more yes to, but I will not say yes to things that are like, we settle on the first idea we get, for example. That's not good. Because then your first idea isn't always your best one. Or it doesn't come off as well. So it's important to keep improving, keep learning, keep progressing, and don't let negativity feed into your programming or your to your train of thought.
yeah.
Because that's what actually hinders you. It's probably something a lot of people are struggling with at the moment, probably. The idea of self-belief and like just putting yourself around people that are naturally inclined to what you want to do as well. And I think one of the biggest struggles I had is this idea of looking cool in school, where something like looking to be like a bang out wasn't as a good look. It was like people always did the work at home, but in school they were just like, nah, I'll do it, I'll lay it later, I'll do it later. But then naturally you would kind of fall into the trap of, oh yeah, he's not doing well, so it's fine, right? But then at home you don't see what he's doing at home, and I think that's one of the biggest things I fell for. So it's being aware of that. It's being very aware that some people don't have your best interests at heart, and to be honest, no one does. It's up to you to have your own interests, put them above, put your own interests above everyone else's, in the sense of, if you want to achieve something, you have to put the work. No one else is here to save you.
True.
Yeah.
Truer words could not be spoken.
Exactly.
This is an interesting one. Which one?
Yes.
Oh. Have you noticed your friend circle shrinking? And if so, was that a painful loss or a welcomed choice?
It's not, my friendship cycle isn't shrinking, it's already shrunk. Shrunk to what it should be. Every time it's extended past a certain limit, it's always come back to the same. And I think that's kind of life's way of telling me, these guys are the ones that you need around you. The rest of them, bye-bye. In order to answer the question, I'd say I think it was a painful loss during the time when I experienced it, but it's also a welcome choice now I'm looking back in hindsight. Some of it wasn't my choice. Some of it was just the way fate had written certain things that just didn't align. We arguments non-stop. We just didn't agree on certain things. The fundamental things we didn't really agree on. And as such, it is what it is. You have to bite the bullet and just go, look, this is not working for me. I have to choose myself over you.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you want to be able to give the best version of you, not just to yourself, but to the world. to be of service. And if certain people are going to be limiting your ability to perform, your ability to provide, your ability to help, then I don't think it's worth having. So yeah, I think your friendship circle shrinking is only ever a good sign. Even if your friendship circle is 0, you are at a powerful position because that's your reset point. Just because you don't have friends or you live a lonely path, it doesn't make you weak. It makes you weak in the long term in terms of you don't have a set group of people around you.
Yeah.
But in the short term, it gives you the most clarity because you see exactly where you are. You see is exactly what you've left behind, and you can also plan for a completely new identity, completely new life ahead of you. And since that point, my life has been different. So I'm grateful for, in hindsight, and grateful for enduring that lonely period to coming to a point where I've got a friendship circle where negativity is unacceptable, and it's now the perfect level where it needs to be.
Yeah. I genuinely think the universe it does what's best for you. So, in friendships, like your whole friendship circle is going to change, or it's going to keep changing. I think in the 20s is probably the most stable it's been, because through your teens, your uni, like if anything, your friendship circle is probably going to expand because you're meeting a lot more people. You're generally going to connect with more people. But as you move through your 20s and get into your late 20s and even into your 30s, it's going to become your core group of people. And I guess it's a support system, right? Like,
yeah, that is important. You do need it.
Your friends are part of your support system along with your family and so on. So you very much need it. And for me personally, it's interesting because I guess at school I had a very small friendship group. And then uni, a whole load of people. But then I wouldn't say I was really close with them, but was more into a surface level friendship group. And then that's sort of fizzled away to what was my core and is still my core group of friends now. So, and I guess, like I said, all of those other friendships have kind of fizzled out. So none of them were like painful losses. And I can't imagine that. I assume it's similar to like a heartbreak, right? Because again, depending on how close and, the length of the friendship and things like that, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It takes a lot out of you because, I don't know, sometimes like friendships, you almost hang on to the thought of like, it's like nostalgia rather than...
Yeah.
You see the friendship as what it once was than what it actually is.
What it is, yeah.
So perhaps it's in the best interest of everyone that you are no longer friends.
But it's not necessarily always a test. Sometimes it is a test to see how much your friendship. So like, even for example, I've had arguments within my friendship circle, and if anything, it's made our friendship stronger because we've both been able to communicate effectively. We've both been able to say, look, this is what has happened. This is how I felt. And we both respected that. And as such, I don't think our friendship's ever been
stronger.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've had that test. So it works either way. Sometimes it works to...
It's like a make or break situation, right? Like it's
exactly.
You're either going to grow stronger because of this, or that's it.
And I think our friendship has amplified because of that. So there are two ends of the spectrum. Either you have that situation, you solve it together, it works. You have that situation, you don't solve it together, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And as a result, that's how the transition / shifts happen.
I think it takes a certain strength and bravery to actually stand up and be like, face the situation, be like, look, I don't think this is a friendship that, I really want to take any further. And it's a sign that you kind of are embracing adulthood, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think, at least not for I can speak for myself, whereas like if I was in that situation when I was at school or at uni, I don't know if I would have confronted that person. Whereas now, I'm more than happy to do that because I don't need that energy or that person in my life.
Is it also knowing what you are allowed to accept in your life and not willing to accept?
Yeah, again, it's boundaries, right? Being very clear about what you need in your life, what that person is bringing in your life, because different friendships will bring different things to your life. And yeah, and having those boundaries, just like, I'm not going to tolerate this, I'm not going to accept this, and taking whatever action is necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. How
you feeling?
How am I feeling? I'm good.
Speak a bit louder. Speak a bit louder.
I am. I'm just a bit conscious of people walking past.
It's fine. We got banging music in the back.
That's
why I keep nodding my head.
Flow Rider.
What do you want to do? Summarize? Or you got a question?
I have one more question that we can summarize. So we talked about time, effort, boundaries, friend circle shrinking, lessons learned so far, what's a good friend, what's a bad friend. My final question, which I think is quite interesting, because I have a view on it. I want to hear other people's view on it. So obviously in your 20s, time is limited, and you meet up with your friends and your friendship groups whenever you can. When you do meet up, do you find it's the case of more like sort of catching up on major life events or things that have happened since your last catch up? Or do you still maintain like some sort of intimacy, or like, I guess, do you have deeper conversations than just like a very surface level catch up?
I think they used to be very much surface level. I think I'd say in the last like 5 years, it's been very much deep conversations. And I do love a deep conversation, to be fair. Not because it's not necessarily a waste of time. It's more developing and strengthening that idea to articulate your ideas very clearly. But doing that with people that you can trust can give you that kind of space to do that is really important, because that skill is very much transferable across your job, across business, across making certain deals, for example, to convey a point in an argument or an important discussion, whether it's family, marriage, like important things that you need to be able to handle. So I think if it is surface level, it doesn't really help anyone. So I would say nowadays it definitely is more like a deep conversation, because especially with the schedules, how much it clashes. It's really important to catch up deeply, because you're catching up on all these different things. You learn different things as well. If it's just like scratching the surface after a long time that you've not seen each other, it's a bit like, what are we doing here, kind of thing. Doesn't feel fulfilling. Whereas if you're having a deep conversation after a very long time, feels like, wow, okay, no wonder I've not seen this person in such a long time. It feels like I've missed out on so much of them, but you've also picked up on what they've done, how they've got through it and things like that. So I think it's really, really important to have a deep conversation. It's just bouncing ideas across.
I think most people would say the same, would be on the same page in that, like, everyone just values a more intimate, deeper conversation now, especially in this phase of our life, when there's so much going on, we're experiencing so many things, like emotions wise. Everyone just appreciates and values a deeper conversation, because, you know, you might be going through a problem, you want a solution to that, you're going to have a deeper conversation, you know, understand what might be driving it, like what are the issues, and try to find a solution for that. But I think it also depends on the situation as well. Like, again, I'm quite lucky that I only have like a close group of friends. So when we do meet up, it's like 3 or 4 of us maximum. So we're able to have, I guess, somewhat deeper conversations than very surface level ones. But like, for example, if you have a friendship group of like 10 people, and you have, you know, you're all catching up for dinner, it's very hard to have those deeper conversations. So like, the context matters, but I personally would much rather have a deeper, even one-to-one conversation with my friend to actually understand what's going on and things like that, rather than have a very surface level one.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's tough because, you know, it's only it really depends on how much time you have, right?
Yeah. It comes, everything kind of like meshes and merges together in the sense that you've got to allocate the right amount of time. You've also got to balance your own mental processing ability as well as finding the time to be with your friends and actually have a good time.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be like events and moments where you're going to be like just chilling out. You're not going to be talking about like life and business all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will just be the dumbest things that you guys do with your friends, and that's what makes a friendship memorable and strong. But also there is an element of seriousness as well. So I think they're all all comes together as a one big thing where it's little things that are involved that make the friendship special and also meaningful as well.
Do you, in your friendship circle, would you say, not label, but would you say each friend has a different role in your life? For example, like for me, I generally would have one person as like sort of my problem solver. One person is like sort of having the more lighthearted conversations with. Like, I feel like for me, it's a more of a roles-based, which seems a bit...
Well, everyone has their own strengths, right?
Yeah.
I think...
And it's the type of friendships that you have with them, which defines like what type of role that they play in your life.
I think in terms of my friendship circle, it's very much dependent on the relationship I have with each individual. But as a collective, we also share that same level of bond between different combinations of that friendship circle as well. So my friendship circle with person A and person B is different, but then between A and B, they're quite different. But B and C are quite different, but as they're all collective, it's quite similar. It's very hard to describe, but everyone has their own individual way of sort of contributing. I don't want to say contributing because it's not like, but they bring something to the table that's different to a friendship. So yeah. I think the relationships vary, but when you come together as a collective, it's quite special. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've talked about a lot of things there, but hopefully we're able to articulate a bit more, I guess, the changing dynamics of a friendship in your 20s compared to your younger years.
I don't know, maybe we'll do another episode in our 30s. 30s, friendship in your 30s.
Hopefully that's a long time away.
That is it's not that long.
Let's not go into that conversation today.
But yeah, if you guys have got any questions that you want to ask us as well, feel free to drop the comments.
Yes. And if you have any suggestions for any
future
topics,
podcast videos too. Agreed.
That you think we should talk about, we're happy to cover those. We will hopefully be having guests at some point as well in the near future. So yeah, we're still, I guess, planning that out. But
just keep an eye out because there are guests on the way. We have certain people in mind. But in the meantime, keep your eyes peeled and we will catch up with you guys in the next one.
Yep.